Okay, right. Because of unforeseen circumstances to do with the country shutting down and things like that, and not being able to get out, and at the moment I am actually self-isolating after feeling unwell for a few days with one or two of the symptoms of the coronavirus. I've decided to do one or two of these videos. So this next video is on a location that's means an awful lot to me, and that location is Scotland. So what drew me to Scotland? Scotland was
I think I was turning a little bit more Scottish. Aye.
one of these places I visited 20 years ago when me and the wife got married, and we got married at Gretna Green, and it was absolutely superb. And that sort of, from that day onwards, has really given me some sort of connection with the place. So we did visit again a couple of years later with some friends and got up to Loch Ness and around that area, then drove back, and not knowing anything about Scotland at all really. And nearly got snowed in up there, which was, for me, was an adventure. And so yeah, when I got into the photography a few years later, I always wanted to go to Scotland and obviously try and photograph some of these places. So me and Andy, we decided to organise a little 4-day trip up there, and we did take the dog. I was in the Freelander, and we decided to do some wild camping, just pull up each night and wild camp, and had an absolutely superb time. Now I'll try and recall, without looking at the video, what actually happened. But the first night I live in a town called Nuneaton, and so we started off from Nuneaton that morning nice and early, and we got literally 15 minutes into the journey, and just got past Tamworth, which is just up the road, and along the Tamworth bypass there, and there's been a crash on the bypass. I think we set out at 9 o'clock. Well, we're still in Tamworth at 11 o'clock. So what a great start that was. Not. Well, been here what, hour and a half?
Hour and a half.
We've just set off at 22:09, let's say, from Nuneaton to do 4 days wild camping in Scotland. We've got 4 mile. It's now 20 past 10. So so we carried on, and we then we actually got to Loch Lomond, which we wanted to get a little bit further, but we managed to get to Loch Lomond by whatever time it was. Now this was sort of the beginning of November, and so a very short night. I think it was getting dark at, I don't know, say 4 past 4 at the latest. So we had to get, because we're stopping in tents, didn't know where we were going, where we were going to stop, and we managed to find this lay-by, and we pitched up the tents right on the loch of Loch Lomond, and it was absolutely amazing. Oh, just the scenery is just so amazing. So that was our first night there, and we were lucky actually to sort of, considering we didn't know where we were going, was quite lucky to get a place. We thought we'd struggle and we'd have to try and find a B&B and this, that and the other, but anyway we managed to get a place. We stopped on the loch, got up the next morning, and it was superb, absolutely superb. So what did we do next? We then travelled, I think the plan was to travel to sort of well, as far as we could really. So we went past Fort William and carried on going up and towards Loch Ness and around that area. One of the roads, if I remember right, was completely shut off there, so we had to go another way, and we travelled round, and then we thought we'd get to the try and get on the Isle of Skye and wild camp there the night. So we got on the Isle of Skye, and by this time the sun was setting, and we were struggling. We was absolutely struggling to find somewhere, because we never knew the place at all. So we decided to get on Google and try and find a B&B, some sort of place we stopped the night, because we could not find a place. You got to appreciate that we literally didn't know where we were going. We were driving down the road, we couldn't find a place to pull over and pitch the tent, believe it or not. So and we're inexperienced in this at that time, so we managed to find a place back off the island, and we found a place at a pub by the castle, Donny Castle, or that area there, and so that the next night we actually stopped there. So now we've sort of already, unfortunately, heading back home. This by the second night this was, so we decided then, obviously again, didn't know where we was going, didn't know much about the place, so we decided to travel down that west coast, down that Oban Road and down that area, and we then found another place, and I haven't got a clue where it was, but again this one was a sea lock. Obviously because the tide were coming in and out, and we'd basically got the lock to ourselves. And again, we'd done some the photography weren't, I must admit, weren't that good. We got some in probably my favourite picture was actually from Glencoe, but that was, I'll tell you about that again in a minute. So yeah, so we travelled down that west coast a little bit, stopped on the lock, done some wall spinning and things like that, and but like I say, the photography wasn't great at all, to be honest, but the adventure was absolutely superb. So next day we ended up Glencoe. I love Glencoe, not researched about photography, anything like that. Thought, I'll go to Glencoe, it's a beautiful place, drove through it before. And we went to Glencoe, and we were struggling to sort of, where can we pitch up this tent? And then I managed to find this, on the main road at Glencoe, there was it was a dirt track really for the quad bikes, I assume, for the farmers and things like that. So I reversed up there for, I don't know, a couple of 300 yards. And we actually wild camped smack bang in the middle of Glencoe there. And so we found this place, and that's the battery gone. Right, we found this place, and so we actually drove back down to the petrol station in Glencoe, and got some firewood and a bit of coal, went back up and wild camped there the night, got a nice fire going, and it was superb, next to a little stream. Got the next morning, absolutely perished, but super time. Well, we've just left us campsite in Glencoe, and that was my first experience driving around Scotland. Obviously then, really got the photography bug then. So we decided, when I got the camper, my mobile office, we decided this is an adventure we've got to continue. So after a bit of studying and that, I've always wanted then, because we've got the camper, to do the NC 500, the North Coast 500. So that's what we did, and we done that in 2018. And we done the North Coast 500. So we set off on a Sunday this time. So Sunday morning, nice and early, don't know when it were, probably just as the sun was rising, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning. And we took the photography book with us, which I'll have to put a link up and show you. I should have got the book really, which is absolutely superb on Scotland, and gives you all some great locations. So we've obviously heading up towards Gretna Green, east coast, up the northeast coast. We actually we stopped off at one place on the way up, and then we actually managed to get to Gretna Green, not Gretna Green, sorry, not Gretna Green, John O'Croats. Yes, so we actually got to John O'Croats that day. So we drove a good distance, don't know how many miles, 400 or 500 mile, if not more, probably 500 mile. And we got there, and we stopped in the car park. There's a lighthouse there, and we stopped in the car park there. And I always remember, God, it was blowing an absolute gale, and that's pretty much what it was like for the next 5 or 6 days, if not more. So yes, we got there, managed to go a quick walk before it went dark to find the stacks there. Done the stacks, found them ready for in the morning so we can get there early and try and get a sunrise with the stacks. We got up in the morning, still blowing extremely heavy, so I did manage to get the drone out, but it was very, very, very dodgy. Got some photos, a lot of them were the wind were blowing the tripod, this, that and the other, so not great photos, not great images, gutted, but again, that experience up there was fantastic. Then we started heading east, and we headed west. Started to head west along the north coast, and oh God, from there onwards, the scenery there is absolutely superb. I mean, it is absolutely. We went to Sango Beach and then places, and we were trying to find somewhere to park out the way. Again, within the camper, so a car park somewhere. And we ended up at an extremely small little ferry terminal. No one there. This was mid-October, by the way. No one there. We stopped there the night, and it was absolutely pitch black. I got out of the van, and you could not see your hand in front of your face. It was drizzly, it was wet, it was horrible. We did go on Sango Beach and try and take some photos, did get some images, but it was extremely difficult. Umbrellas and God knows what, windy, so we struggled. Again, weather was not kind to us at all. So what did we do then? We travelled, I think that was the second night. The third night we decided to do stop in a B&B just as a refresh, and I haven't got a clue where that was. Some fishing port somewhere. I have not got a clue. Not got a clue at all. So that's day 3. Day 4, we were expecting, I think day 4/5, we were expecting better weather. The only real day was going to be good weather, and we really wanted to do the Isle of Skye, do all the iconic shots on the Isle of Skye, the old Man of Storr and all that. And so we sort of had to bypass Applecross, is it? Applecross, yeah, we had to bypass that, so we missed that. We couldn't do that. So we get on the Isle of Skye, and we headed towards the lighthouse. As I said in one of my last videos, I had a problem with the clutch. We pulled up at one garage, they couldn't help us, so we told us to go to another garage, got it up on the ramp, couldn't find anything that's going to drop off, but he said, I think it's your clutch going. So so what we decided to do, rather than ring the RAC, we would carry on till it broke down, and that's exactly what we did on the Isle of Skye. So we'd visited the old Man of Storr to see where we could park overnight. Went to that, then went back to the lighthouse, done the lighthouse, and then gets to the old Man of Storr, pulls up, starts doing a bit of cooking, a nice bit of steak again, because we like a steak. And there's Andy looking up in the sky. I think, what the bloody hell's he doing? And looks up, this green glow. Yes, the northern lights. it was the clear night, the northern lights. Oh my God, pictures rubbish, absolute rubbish. But to see the northern lights was something absolutely special, real special. To see them northern lights was so special. It was something else. Behind me I'd got the Milky Way, in front of me northern lights. Oh, if we only knew now, and what we should have done was drive over the hill and or a bit further along than the car park at the old Man of Storr, and we'd have got some super pictures. But hey, the next time, if it happens. But at least I've seen the northern lights in Scotland, so how about that. So we went up next morning, we gets up, walks up to the old Man of Storr, never been before, walks up, absolutely blowing. Oh God, I've never known it so windy again. When we went to the lighthouse the day before, I've never felt wind like it. It was as bad as you're going to get. So anyway, we walked up the old Man of Storr, and we get to the top after walking up the hard bit, because we didn't know where we were going. There's a bank where we've walked up where we could have walked round because it was dark, etc. 3/4 of an hour hard walking for us, really. Like I say, because we'd gone the wrong way for a start. Up this wrong bank anyway. So we get up there and it was windy, and we just hunkered down behind this, I don't know, like a bank that's just before you get to the peak. It says, oh, we'll stop here for a bit, wait till the sun to rise. And then when we went up onto the main top bit, where there's like a little plateauy bit, it wasn't actually so windy. It was still extremely windy. The wind caused havoc with the photography side of it, but the sunrise we're seeing there, over as you looked over looked east towards the mainland, the sun. And so that was really the photo. So we got some photos of the sunrise in Old Man of Storr. A lot of them were blurry. Managed to get the odd one or two that was half sharp, just because the wind was absolutely horrendous. So we've done the Old Man of Storr. I had a little laugh on the way back down, with some pretend bagpipes and things like that, which I might put up. So yeah, we've done that, and then we went to the fairy pools, which I probably got my best photos of the tour around the coast. Again, it started to drizzle. The weather's changing again now, starting to drizzle, but got some photos that I really like. The one I wanted was the iconic one with the little waterfalls. I think it's 3 or 4 little like fingers of waterfalls that come over, and then you got a bit like that, and my head's the mountain. And the mountain in the background and the waterfall and all this, that and the other. So I got that image plus some nice ones. We walked up, sussed out some of the areas that we liked, and you have to, the iconic one's the one right at the top, which is typical. Got that one and got them coming back down, and then yeah, we drove off the Isle of Skye back to the castle, back to the castle there just off the Isle of Skye. Stopped there the night in a B&B again. Stopped there, that's the second B&B again, just to freshen up. And then we decided to again, not forgetting that we're struggling with a clutch now, so we decided to sort of start to head back south a bit more and a bit more, and we got to the castle. We stopped outside a castle. I'm gonna have to put it up here. I should have wrote it down, shouldn't I? What an idiot. I don't know, can't remember. I'll put it up here. When you see it, you'll know which castle I'm on about. Got there, and I think I got some really, really nice photos there. But it'd been raining heavy, it was boggy all round by the loch that's in front of the castle and all this, that and the other. And yeah, we pitched up there the night. We stopped there the night in the camper in the lay-by just at the top as you walk down. And then headed home the next day because the clutch was really starting to rattle and bang and God knows that. I had to drive near on 400 mile, I think it was, having to choose what gear I had to drive, because if I went into 5th gear at 70 mile an hour to keep it to 4th, if I went into 5th it'd judder, if I went too slow it would judder in 4th, I had to change to 3rd, so if I could keep it at 70 when I got on the motorways, it was 4th gear all the way back down, drove all the way back down, and managed to get home. So again, another experience and a great adventure. Again, wish I'd have explored Glencoe a lot more and learned about the place. Definitely a place I want to get up there in the snow again and do, but it's certainly not going to happen now. Like I say, it's let's just say I've had a rough time in the last few days. So, but yeah, so this is why I'm doing 1 or 2 of these videos in the camper. I've got another one planned as well, so I'm going to do that one. So until I get out next, which certainly won't be for a few days yet, maybe a few days more to be honest, if the letter's out now, if the letters travel, because it's starting to get to that stage where the travelling's a bit of a no-no. And yeah, I've got to concentrate on more important things unfortunately, but if I can get out, and when I can I will do. But till then, restricted. I'm going to definitely do. I've got another plan on another video that I'll probably do of the my adventures in the Lake District, and then probably another one of other places, and try and do these. But just show you what I've done over the years. And I've been actually vlogging now for 4 years, so if not a bit longer than that actually. And I'm slightly getting better with each one, I suppose. So, but I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please subscribe or give me a thumbs up, and I'd really appreciate that. So I hope you enjoyed some of these video clips that I'll put on, and some of the photos that I'll put on, and at least it might inspire you to, if you haven't been to Scotland, and certainly the North Coast. I'm definitely going to take the missus up there. I'm definitely going to be doing the North Coast again, because it is an experience of a lifetime. And if you haven't got a camper, hire one and do it, because you will not regret it. Don't worry about fuel and toilets and things like that. There's plenty of places you could park at night. There's plenty of caravan sites if you wanted to pull in. Plenty of amenities. What we did with fuel wise was we didn't let it get more than half empty, and then we filled up, never had a problem. And it's just an experience of a lifetime, well, whether you're a photographer or whatever, but certainly photography, you could spend 2 months up there. The only thing I would probably say is try and avoid the midges. So sort of, I think it's after April, May time up till September, I think. But we went in mid-October. It's a good time to go. The weather wasn't good, but hey, that's Scotland, isn't it? But the scenery is honestly just something else. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Certainly not as long as the North Wales one, but it's one of them where I can't do a lot about it. I want to show you everything. I didn't want to split that one up, but if you haven't seen it, have a quick look, even if you jog through it and that, because there's some good places I've been, and yeah. So and the same with this one. Just if it's on a bit too long, just skip through it and have a look and see where we've been and what we've done over the years. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and till the next one, I'll catch you guys soon. Thank you very much.